the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to Did I not?
No, I'm just
okay. I was like, did I go too early?
It's Monday.
Was this a premature entry?
No, I'm just reacting to the fact that we got to talk about the Browns.
We started this show about the competence of a Browns offensive drive.
So this wasn't
nobody knows what
penalty on first
This
down.
wasn't even planned, by the way. So if you want to know how so many things could go wrong, we're a perfect example of that. Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast, live edition, giving you our reaction to yesterday's abomination of a football game. Disclosure at the beginning of the episode, if we seem distracted, I have the Guardians game pulled up on my computer right now. It's in the ninth. So I'm going to be talking to you about the Browns and how depressed I am about them. And then I'm going to be looking down at my computer and hopefully being perked up if we can somehow score a run in this game. 0-0 in the top of the ninth. So we're going to get into this episode, tell you everything about yesterday's game. If you didn't watch it, consider yourself lucky. Give you all of our thoughts. We also got some stuff that we've just seen from around the league, people talking about it. It's good to be the laughing stock of the league again. I kind of missed it. So it's like back to reality, getting to just turn on ESPN and see people laugh and joke about the Browns. So I feel right at home now.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
Comfortable here.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
It was a weird couple of years where we weren't the laughing stock. We've never done a podcast, by the way, where we're the complete laughing stock. The Browns have always seemed to have at least kind of been on the upswing. This is our first time getting to do a Browns podcast where it's just nosedive off of a cliff.
Oh, yeah, because we started right after the Freddie Kitchens, so we were coming out of laughing stock into competent football, and it was like, wow.
Yeah, me and Josh got demonetized last week.
I saw.
We did. Yeah, we dropped a couple too many F-bombs.
Sorry about that, friends and family.
And I wasn't even here.
Yeah,
I know.
So it looks like we're going back to back.
Yeah,
like Drake.
So we got, if you want to get your intros, your voicemails on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. We got 4 voicemails to get to today, so we'll make sure we get through all of them. If you want to continue to get your thoughts on the show, we love hearing from you guys about the good, bad, and most of the ugly, because there hasn't been much good this year. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming therapy sessions. I'm preemptively calling them therapy sessions because I don't foresee a lot of wins this year. They might be taking the lead, so that's I'm no longer perked.
Oh, see, there's the distraction.
Well, we held them at third, so that's good. But if you want, make sure you have the notification bell tapped. You don't want to miss any of the content we're putting out because the Browns might suck, but we're at least as average as we've always been. So
Sure.
Yeah. So you don't want to miss any of that. So make sure you have the notification bell tapped. If you prefer to just listen to the show, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. If you want to look for us on any of the social media platforms, just search at the Dogs Podcast. You'll find us on pretty much all of them. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dogs content, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. You get access to the private Discord. You get to play fantasy football with us. I got to meet a couple Discord members out in Vegas last week, so that was really cool. We're going to be meeting a bunch more of them in November, unless they all cancel their trip. A bunch of guys are coming in for a Browns backers bash and going to the Chargers game in November, unless, again, they're like, well, this isn't worth it. They had to probably talk their wives into getting these tickets and making a trip of it. And it was like, the Browns are going to be good. This is going to be awesome. And now their wives are like, we're staying home and working on the house. Yeah. We're not wasting our time with that. But you get access to the private Discord. You get to hang out with us all the time. You get to play fantasy football with us. You get to have week-long therapy sessions instead of just, once a week on these live episodes, especially on game days. They're what kind of get you through the game. So if you want to hang out with us, you want to hang out with guys from all over the world and gals, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. So do we just want to kick it off with a voicemail or two before we dive into all of our thoughts?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm just trying to figure out. We've got 4 voicemails, but 3 callers. So we'll just go ahead and play. Well, let's just set the tone with Kenny Mack.
Okay. Yo, guys, it is Kenny Mack, and that was an awful performance on offense. And everybody's at least got one win in the league right now, and we are the worst. We are not even close to being anywhere good with the current state of this team And holding on to Deshaun Watson is just like a kick in the nuts for all us older guys that got to watch Bernie. We had to watch Bernie behind a terrible offensive line with Bill Belichick, and we were all told that he had diminishing skills. And then when he went to another team and he had an owner and somebody else that actually invested in offensive line, we got to watch him with the Super Bowl. And this is the complete opposite. This guy that we have now, Deshaun, he can't read. He's slow. He's just not into the game. He's done. And we need this to happen. We need Dorsey to be removed. We need the old offense installed. And we need any other quarterback in the world other than Deshaun to get just the ball out fast, because he can't do it. Because you know what? He's selling out this defense. He's selling out the special teams. And they're not half bad with somebody that can at least make a couple throws. Anyways, I'm out of here. Boop, boop. Go Browns.
So just to touch on what he said in terms of like Deshaun's wash, I see somebody up here says it's going to go down as the worst trade of all time, even if the Browns need a QB. You might be right.
Yep.
I used to say it wasn't, but where it's at now, it's definitely looking like it could be. That being, I said this earlier, I don't fault the Browns for the move.
No, I told people that on social media yesterday all day. I was like, I'll never be mad at the move.
I'm not mad at, because first of all, nobody has a crystal ball. And I don't know if, barring injury in any professional sport, has there ever been a decline of a player that quick? If you guys really wanted to be depressed, Detroit just hit a 3-run homer off Clase in the ninth. So that sucks.
Sonny gave us the update.
Okay.
Somebody in one of our chats a while back had compared it to Tiger Woods.
Yeah, which Tiger at least came back and won a Master. It took him a little bit. And Tiger also had a ton of injuries when he was coming back from that. Deshaun as far as he had his shoulder, but right now he's as healthy as he's ever been. And there's no denying this guy cannot play professional football anymore. He is not good at football. And I know I'm not saying that he's the only issue on the team. The team has other issues. He is the main issue. Okay. Like the offensive line is bad. I get that, but they're being made to look 10 times worse by him holding the ball, not recognizing blitzes, not knowing where to go with the football. On the strip sack yesterday, he had 3 guys open in a perfectly clean pocket, and he's just standing there.
And then
ran into a sack. The one play where he got murdered, he just ran into the guy. You guys know what play I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. He had a seam to his right that he'd still be running if he just would have. And as soon as he cuts back in and just turns around right into a guy who blasts him. And I texted you guys, I was like, I think he might be fucking blind. It was like the parting of the Red Sea. It was a Trent Richardson situation.
Oh man.
And I was like, this guy can't play professional football anymore. And I know I'm perfectly fine if they canned Dorsey right now. Okay. I'm all for that, but it is more Watson than it is Dorsey.
No, I think for me, like the Dorsey stuff speaks to the miscommunication, the just lack of awareness, everybody on the field not looking like they know what's going on. I mean, that 4th down situation where they've got 12 men on the field and Kevin's trying to call on a play and they're trying to tell him like, dude, we got 12 people out here. We can't huddle up. And, then we have to take the penalty and kick the field goal. We're getting killed, by the way. Right. We can't just settle for field goals. We have to, and it's like that right there was just the epitome of the.
But it's been the same. It's been the same deal all year. It's looked dysfunctional. It's looked sloppy. It's looked mismanaged. We don't look prepared to either play or mentally. We just look flat. I can't get over how flat we just look game to game. With Watson, I know when we made that trade, I'm with you guys. I was like, man, hey, we're taking a shot at this thing. We have a window. We're making a run at it. I've kind of just started thinking like, those 3 years where he didn't play and he didn't get game experience, like we used to say rust and stuff like that. But man, like I think that Like those were critical years in like his development as far as like evolving, and just staying consistent. It's rough. It's really, really rough. I don't even, it's so bad. I'm always positive, right? I'm always positive about the Browns.
That's you. Yep.
And I've been telling people like, I don't know what to even do right now. You know what I mean? Like I've hit that point where at least like years back, like I knew that we weren't good, but I was like, hey, let's go shock the world. You know what I mean? Like I came into the season, like expectations high, like let's make a run at this again. And it's so deflating and gutting just watching your team go out there and just not even look like a football team. Like it's just so unorganized. I think there's a lot of issues. You know what I mean? I think it's a perfect storm of just complete shit right now.
I personally,
language.
I think
You're fine.
I think the team is quit on the quarterback.
They look very
I'm
checked
with you
out.
on that. Yep.
You can't put them back out there. I know they keep saying they're going to, but here's the thing is right now, like some people are crapping on Kevin. I don't think as much of a Kevin problem is maybe a top problem.
Yes. Yeah.
And the players don't want to play for this guy. It is so obvious. Amari Cooper has more drops this season than he has in his career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jerry Jeudy dropped a touchdown.
Yes,
pass.
it is. They know that it's hopeless. They know that it's hopeless, and they know that he shouldn't be in. If it was anybody else on any other team, he would not still be in.
No.
Okay, so you can't. If you put him in, you risk losing the locker room more than like right now. I feel like the locker room is not playing for the QB. If you keep putting him in, they're going to quit on the coach, and and if they quit on you, then you have to be fired because you're not going to get it back.
You lost the locker room.
Okay. I see somebody said Kevin ruins offensive players. Baker, Odell, Joe Flacco, and somebody else all better without him. Shut up.
How'd he ruin Joe Flacco? He revitalized his career.
He revitalized Joe Flacco's career. Baker had arguably his best season as a pro with Kevin Stefanski. And Odell hadn't done anything real. Like he was obviously awesome until he started getting injured in New York. There's a reason New York was willing to part ways with him. Came to Cleveland, didn't really do much, and he's done absolutely nothing since he left.
No, he's been a total waste.
So don't tell me he ruins offensive. I'm not saying Kevin is a guy who I necessarily think is like an offensive genius in terms of new offenses in the NFL. But we saw with this team less than a year ago that this offense could be explosive.
I have serious fears right now that Kevin is just not, he's basically a puppet. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that he has any control of what kind of offense we're trying to run. I don't think he has any control over personnel moves. So he's basically his hands are tied. And like, whether you can say what you want, whether that's, we should move on from him or not. I don't know what he's supposed to do.
I just don't see how after what we saw Kevin do with this team last year with all the injuries, with 4 or 5 different starting quarterbacks, rallying the troops, getting everybody together, putting game plans together where DTR could go out there and lead us to a victory over the Steelers, where PJ Walker could help us get to a point where we could beat the 49ers. Like Kevin Stefanski, I don't think he's the problem. I think you're right. I think he's a puppet. I think he's being told you have to do this. And the reason for me is the total deflation and defeat of Kevin Stefanski. Like he looks like an imposter out there. And when he's talking to the media, he doesn't look, that's not Kevin Stefanski. He just looks so defeated and, well, I just got to coach better and we got to play better and we'll get better. And it's like, he doesn't even believe it.
Yeah. We've been asking for accountability just based on what we've seen, this 5 weeks now. Like, cause they're what?
these fucking people in the chat.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I thought it was the Guardians
game. Yeah. I don't see any accountability.
Hey, Bearded Browns podcast. What's up, guys?
Don't tell me that players don't want to play for Kevin. Less than a year ago, they played for Kevin. They won 11 games with 5 different starting quarterbacks. Don't tell me he doesn't know how to rally the troops. He just did it. He's been to the playoffs 2 out of the last 4 years. He has won Coach of the Year twice. Don't tell me this stuff about Kevin. You sound fucking dumb. You sound stupid.
It is the easiest. It's the easiest finger to point is that,
sure.
Well, it's Kevin's fault. Now, the only, as far as I'll go with like it being Kevin's fault is whether, I said this to somebody today, like he is the captain of a sinking ship.
Yeah.
And the ship is sinking, and it might not be because of anything he did. It might not be his fault. Somebody else didn't do their job and it caused the ship to sink, but he's the captain.
Yep. He's not getting off.
So when it goes down, he goes down with it. So he has got to take control. And if control has been taken away from him by Andrew Berry or probably Jimmy Haslam,
sure.
That's what he looks. I feel bad for Kevin.
He looks like he's given up on the QB just as much as the players have given up. He knows it's hopeless.
Yeah.
He knows it doesn't fucking matter what he calls. And all the people are saying he needs to give up. Maybe he gives up play calling just to say they're trying something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's calling plays if your quarterback can't freaking read a defense. I watched some clips yesterday of some people talking about the Browns offense. There are guys open.
Yeah.
There are guys open, and people are blitzing us at such a high rate because they know Deshaun cannot identify
crazy numbers.
They don't know. He doesn't know what to do. He will. At one point yesterday, I said, just throw. I don't care if there's not a hot route. I don't care if nobody's open. Just throw it somewhere. I don't care if you throw 10 interceptions. Quit fucking taking sacks.
So 26 on the season already. He's on pace for over 100. And I think, what did I say the record is?
It's like 70.
He's on pace for over 100 this year.
He will not throw the ball.
No, and I was going to bring that point up. I'm glad you said that because every defense we've seen, their pressure rate and, like you said, the rate at which they're bringing the blitz against us is so much higher than what they do on the season average because we suck. Like, our offensive line is terrible, number one, and he can't, like you said, he can't read it, and he can't dissect, he can't, throw the ball fast. And that's where if you had a guy back here who knew where to go with the ball quickly and get it out of his hands, they wouldn't be able to do that to us.
People are, and it's not like they're being creative. They're running almost the same blitz it's just pressure off the edge every time.
Yep.
And he doesn't get rid of the ball. He's not 0-2 in the playoffs, first of all. Kevin Stefanski's created competent offenses with Baker Mayfield, Case Keenum, Jacoby Brissett, PJ Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Joe Flacco. So don't tell me, and I'm not saying he's Ben Johnson or Sean McVay or Mike McDaniel, but he's put out good to slightly above average offenses with not a ton of talent at times, busted up quarterbacks at times. The difference is the quarterback. And we don't like Ken Dorsey's offense per se. We didn't want him to be the guy that got hired. That being said, Josh Allen didn't look lost when Ken Dorsey was his coordinator. He still looked like an NFL quarterback. He didn't look as good as he did with Daboll, and people were wondering what was going on with Josh Allen, but he still looked like an NFL quarterback. Deshaun Watson doesn't look like he should be in the NFL. And I'm telling you right now, if the Browns gave him his entire contract right now and said, here's all your money, you can leave. And you're owed zero money. You got all your money. Any team can sign you for whatever they want. He'll never play on another football team ever again. Not with what he's shown since he's been here. Not with more allegations. I don't like the guy's entire demeanor on the field. He looks, first of all, I've said this before, his eyes are like this. Like he's never, this is what he looks like half the time underneath his helmet. He's constantly, seems like he's pouting and whining. He's, he throws the ball down. He just walks off. I know, we had too many people on the field, and that's the only thing I'll defend him on is people are like, he quit. He didn't quit. We had too many guys on the field. Okay. He's walking off the field. He knows we're not going to burn time out, but even just walking off the field, he just looks like, woe is me. Bro, you're the problem. You should be, if your coach, Zach texted me yesterday and said that he saw somewhere that player said Stefanski's not like a guy who tells you what to do. He's showing you the things, and he wants you're the player. It's on the locker room to get it figured out. Okay. And he was like, I need Kevin to be the hoorah. I don't need my coach to be. If your coach has to be the leader on the team, you're in trouble. That means you lack leadership. If your coach has to be the lead, because guess what? He's not in between the lines. He doesn't play with you. If your coach is your strongest leader out there, That means there's no ownership from the players. There's no accountability from the players, personal accountability. There's nobody on that team holding their teammates accountable. If your coach has to be that guy, you're not going to be a very good football team.
No, you're absolutely right.
That's at any level. That's at any level of any sport. So that to just say Kevin is the problem. I'm not saying he's perfect by any stretch. I even said yesterday as a hardcore Kevin defender, if it goes this far off the rails for the remainder of the season, he's probably going to get fired. Yep. Or if it didn't, even if they hadn't decided to fire him, if Ben Johnson gave you any indication he would come to Cleveland, which he never fucking will.
Right. Yeah.
I'd throw a blank checkbook at him and completely start over. But Kevin is the least of the problems, in my opinion.
No, my big thing with Kevin is I just think that he's running and again, it might not be his decision, but he's running a huge risk here of, like you said, losing the locker room. And my fear is we've got a lot of young guys that are locked up on contracts for the next 3-4 years. We've got a lot of young guys on rookie contracts in that room. I don't want this culture to go away. This winning culture, this do whatever it fucking takes culture that he created over his tenure here to go away, all because he's not allowed to make the move that we all know he needs to make. Big news, Dog Pack. We are thrilled to announce we have a partnership now with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, opening up an incredible opportunity for you to join some of our favorite sports books and get the best odds and new user offers this NFL season. Head over to our dedicated page at signupexpert.com/dogs, DAWGS, to explore a whole selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offerings for you. If you guys are ready to take your sports betting to the next level this NFL season, head over to signupexpert.com/dogs, DAWGS, and check out the new user offers and the best odds on all the sports books. That's signupexpert.com/dogs.
KS would get hired, Watson wouldn't. Yes, if they were both gone right now, all things even, no money owed to anybody, they're both complete free agents. Kevin Stefanski would have a job in a minute. Deshaun Watson would be selling cars, or he'd just be hanging out in Dubai because he's got $230 million guaranteed. Okay. So yes, we have a better head coach in the building. Well, apparently not, because one of them was fired and one of them's a 2-time coach of the year.
And extended.
So it just, we talked a lot about Ken Dorsey, firing Ken Dorsey. I'm not going to argue if they decide to fire Ken Dorsey. But again, I think if we want to continue to run this offense and you put Jameis Winston or even DTR in, it would look better. Yeah. Now, I think the Browns' best move would be, even if you don't want to fire Dorsey because he's only been here a month and a half, and you don't want to be that organization, would be, hey, we're going to put Jameis in and we're going to go to a lot of this. We don't have the line for this. We don't have the receivers for this. We're going to go to what I know and know what I know best, especially with Nick Chubb hopefully coming back in a couple weeks. We're going to go to this run heavy, play action boot. You know what helps the offensive line? If the defense is playing on their heels. They're guessing. Right now, when you throw 85% of the time and you can't run the ball at all, they're just pinning their ears back, pass rushing you from the first. Normally, defenses don't get to tee off on you until you're down 3 scores in the fourth. Teams are doing it right off the rip because they know we're not even going to try to run the ball.
Yeah, the stat on the broadcast, I forget the exact numbers yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they showed where the Browns run all their plays out of the shotgun at a higher rate, like a significantly higher rate than any other team in the league. And we average the lowest yards per play of any team in the league on shotgun plays. Yeah. So maybe, and I was sitting there, I told my wife, I said, oh, look at that. I said, maybe don't run shotgun.
Well, yeah, here's the problem too with the Watson thing is this offense was, the reason we're doing this is because it was built around him.
Yep.
That's the whole reason. And if I'm Stefanski at the same time, I'm a little bit irritated in terms of I've been 2-time coach of the year. I took this team to the playoffs last year with 5 different starting quarterbacks. My offense has been perfectly fine in terms of putting up points. It's been in the top half of the league. It's maybe never been a top 5, but it's never been we've never been bottom 5. I just revitalized Joe Flacco's career. And how do you reward me? You make me fire my offensive coordinator and go out and bring in this new guy and build an offense around a guy who can't play football anymore. So it almost gets the sense he's like, this is what you wanted. Take it. I mean, if I was him, I'd almost want out.
Right. But then why would,
it's kind of the vibes I'm getting too. Like the thing is we can read into it different ways and things like that. But the bottom line is the vibes are bad. Like something is going, like there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I mean, obviously the team is saying the right stuff. I mean, Amari Cooper, what he said, Deshaun Watson, he's our guy. We believe in him or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like, dude, your body language, you talked about body language, your body language on the field, your play on the field.
It's bad.
Like, it doesn't look like you do.
Bearded Browns podcast is 3.6 yards per play. I was going to mention at one point yesterday, this is how bad the Browns offense has been the entire year, is that yesterday was an improvement in terms of the yards per play. They talked about it on the broadcast. We were actually averaging a little bit more yards per play in yesterday's game than we were coming into that game. I was like, how is this even possible?
Some of the stats from yesterday.
So Jake Burns posted this one the other day. In the first half, the Browns ran 25 plays for 36 yards. That's 1.5 yards per play, 0 for 7 on third downs in the first half. That's all-time low. That's not just bad football. Like, this is the worst football you can play.
I couldn't believe when I because it felt bad in the moment, but then sometimes you walk away and reflect and then you come back and look at some numbers and stuff like that. And then I looked at the numbers and I was like, yeah, that's exactly like how it felt. The third downs, we were 0 for 12 with our starters in. We got one with a minute something left in the game. I don't know how many 3 and outs we had consecutively where it was just 3 and out punt. I mean, Corey's punting his ass off.
First 6 drives of the game. Offense, 5 plays, turnover on downs. Defense gets a 3 and out. Offense, -7 yards, 3 and out. Yep. Defense gets an interception. Offense, 4 yards, 3 and out. Yep. Defense gives up 34 yards and a touchdown. Browns offense had 5 3 and outs, all of which were before halftime.
Daryl Reuters posted, he said, Kevin Stefanski on ownership role and QB decision. Kevin said, I wouldn't go into all the specifics. I think you guys know that we make great decisions together. I obviously talked to Andrew about everything we do. We talk to ownership about everything we do. That's just how we operate. To me, that sounds like code for, I went to him and said, please, for the love of God, let me run my football team the way I want to run my football team. And they told me to piss off. And this is coach speak, professional speak way of saying, we came up with this idea together. Because you're not a football coach. You're not a 2-time coach of the year and continue to put this on the field. You're not. Nobody would do this. This is insanity.
And that's been my thing this whole time. And my thing for the last 3.5 weeks has been just get rid of Dorsey and let Kevin run his offense, please, or whatever. But you're right. The problem, number one main problem, stems from Watson. But it's the fact that we're not doing anything. If there's no changes made, then I expect nothing to change. It's going to be the same bullshit on Saturday. Philly's going to dog walk us up and down the field. We're going to kick 1 field goal, maybe, and that'll be the game. We're going to lose 37-3. It's going to be another blowout, and we're going to be right back here 7 days from now talking about the same stuff.
Nick Chubb doesn't need to come back to this mess. I agree. I'm almost at the point where I'm like, don't come back. If we're not going to make a quarterback change and we're not going to change anything with the offensive philosophy, why bring him back to this? The season's toast. Why even risk it? Just let him take basically 2 years off, and hopefully he comes back next year feeling refreshed and can play well. Because honestly, at this point, it's almost like I would trade him to a contender just to do right by him.
Just to do him a favor.
Just to be like, hey, I don't know, how bad is Aaron Jones hurt? I know he went down. Do you want to go to the Vikings? I'd go ask him, where do you want to go? Because you don't deserve to come back to this. So let us do you a favor. Tell us where you want to go. We'll call him, see how we can make it happen. That's almost where I'm at with this. Not that I don't want Nick Chubb to play for the Browns. I don't want him to play for this Browns.
With Chubb, the thing that's crazy is, obviously this is it on the contract. But we're not going to pay him crazy money next year. Who knows what we're going to get with Nick Chubb, right? The rest of the year. Especially behind this offensive line. He he might make what guys get stuffed to the line into like 2 or 3 yards. You know what I mean? And obviously he can break some plays off. But I don't think, especially if we're heading towards what I think we're heading towards, where we're going to fire sale pretty much Amari Cooper, Wyatt Teller, you know, like guys that we really like, because what's the point of having a super high-end roster that's not super high-end? You know what I mean? So I think that I wouldn't be shocked at all if, you know, this is it for Chubb. I wouldn't even be shocked if he got traded, which is crazy. You know, you're talking about the heart of Cleveland for the last few years.
We talked about it on our fantasy podcast. I mean, there's going to be guys moving.
For sure.
They're not keeping Amari Cooper past the trade deadline. I mean, there are teams that could use Amari Cooper.
The Chiefs.
Because the Chiefs,
Buffalo.
we talked about the Bills.
Buffalo.
The Bills could, imagine Amari Cooper, because they got nothing.
Amari Cooper with Pat Mahomes would be scary.
Yeah. Even Josh Allen or any of the, I mean, it's not working here. We're obviously not going to, the Browns are at a point where they're going to start
Fire sale.
getting draft picks and accumulating capital for the future soon.
So here's what's crazy is part of me says you can blow it all up, but another part of me thinks you don't necessarily need to blow it all up because you're completely devoid of talent at one position. And again, the offensive line is not played well. I get that. They're not playing well. But part of their struggles is defenses know what we're doing.
Right.
They know what we're doing. And so they're just pinning their ears back and just they're not concerned about anything that the quarterback's going to do. They're not concerned about the pass. They're not concerned about him running. They're just pinning their ears back. Again, like I said, it's like they're starting the game off like they're up 3 scores late in the fourth and they know we got to throw the ball. They're just pinning their ears back. If we went to a Stefanski style traditional offense with, 2 tight ends, Nick Harrison at fullback, we're running it at him, then we're doing some play action boot, and all of a sudden you get those linebackers to freeze for a second, and you give this line a chance to get to the next level, or these defensive linemen, they stop for a second because they don't know where the ball is, and then our guys can get in position. All of a sudden the line looks better. I'm not saying they're going to go from the way they're playing now to a top 3 offensive line, but they'll be better. Everything hinges on the fact that we built the offense around the guy who can't play football anymore. And it makes everybody look worse. It makes the play calling look worse. It makes the coaching look worse. It makes the receiver, it makes everything else. It's a ripple effect. He is the biggest domino. So again, I'm not saying the line's playing as well as they need to. I'm not saying the receivers are playing as well as they need to. But I'm saying when you're the biggest piece, your foundation, you can have a great house. You have $1 million mansion. But if the foundation's bad, the house isn't worth anything, and it's going to fall down.
Yeah,
right now, the Browns have a bad foundation on offense. The foundation is Deshaun Watson because they built it around him. It used to be Nick Chubb in the ground game of Stefanski's offense, and now they took that foundation and they made it Deshaun Watson, and he is a bad foundation. And so now nothing is going to work. Yeah,
and I just want to clarify, like when I talk about trading pieces off and getting stuff for the future, I'm not talking about I know you said fire sale. I don't mean burn it down. I'm talking about the movable contracts that are aging veterans, movable contracts, clear up cap space for the future for next year. That's what I'm talking about because our core is still very much intact. We have our young core, guys that are paid up or, on contract for the next 3-4 seasons that we're really excited about. JOK, Delpit, sure. These guys. But it's the older veterans with the movable contracts that we can get off to these contenders because there will be buyers. We will be a seller for sure this year. And, that way we can get those pieces to do a retool, not a rebuild, but kind of reload next year. I think next year we probably play so average football, probably get a young quarterback, probably have a veteran as well to, bridge it over. And then in 2026 is whenever you see the next ramp up.
Reload and O-line can't. I just covered that, man. That's what I just talked about. Are you watching on mute?
Oh, and I also wanted to mention, we are talking about all this stuff and how bad the offense was yesterday. Playing against the Washington Commanders, who were the 6th worst defense in the NFL, letting teams put up 357 total yards of offense and 25.5 points. We put up 212 yards and 6 points. That garbage time touchdown doesn't matter to me. 6 points, 2 field goals against a 25.5 point defense.
We haven't played maybe Dallas we haven't played a good defense yet.
This was the easiest part of the schedule.
Yes.
These are all beatable teams.
That's why, like, if I have to assume we're going to continue to play this way, because we're a bad football team.
Yes.
We do things that bad football teams do. We get stupid penalties. We can't get personnel on the field. We do things that bad football teams do. We're a bad football team. So I have to assume we're a bad football team. I'm not going to lie to myself. When I look at our schedule the rest of the way, I don't see a second win.
No, I don't either, because
it's brutal.
Everybody else we play is better than what we've already faced. I mean, we haven't played a single divisional game yet. We've got to go play the Bengals twice, the Steelers twice. We got Philly coming up. We've got the Chiefs. Chargers. We've got by the time we play Miami late. Yeah, we got the Chargers. Miami's going to have Tua back probably. We got to play Denver. Denver's defense is going to kill us.
I watched a lot of the Steelers game last night, and I messaged the Discord and said, when the Browns play the Steelers, we'll have negative yards offense.
TJ Watt will set the single game sack record for all time by a lot against the Browns if Deshaun Watson's playing quarterback. This episode is brought to you by Manly Bands. Dog Pack, if you followed the show for a while, you know that I recently got married. I got my wedding band at Manly Bands. Now, I opted for something a little more simple, so I just got a plain, simple, gold, polished band from Manly Bands, but that's not everybody. And I'm telling you, they've got so many cool different designs and materials available. They've got bands made out of Jack Daniel's whiskey barrels, meteorites, even dinosaur bones. It's so cool. Just head to manlybands.com, check out the selection, see what they have. They've even got build your own bands if you want to make a custom style band for yourself. And right now, use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, at manlybands.com when you check out, and you'll get 25% off your order. 25% is a big deal. So make sure, if you guys are looking for a new wedding band, Blake mentioned last week or two on the show that, he's lost a lot of weight in the last year. And so his wedding band is a little too big for him. So he's thinking about getting a new one. And I told him, I said, just go to Manly Bands, see what they got. And the 25% off your order is such a great deal. You really can't beat it. So at least go check it out, see what they have. And they've got some really cool stuff. And again, promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, if you decide to buy one, and you'll get 25% off of that purchase. If you don't know your ring size, you can order a free ring size guide. They'll ship it straight to you. You can punch out the little rings and put them on your finger to see which size fits you best. And then every single band you order comes with a free silicone ring for whenever you want to work out or go swimming or whatever you need a silicone band for. You get one for free shipped with your purchase of a Manly Band from manlybands.com. So check it out. Again, manlybands.com. Use promo code DAWGS for 25% off your order.
Bojo easily the MVP with 2 punts to the 2-yard line.
I keep saying that.
I said yes. I said earlier today, it's like 2005 again or whatever it was when we had Chris Gardocki and he was like our best player. I said, we're back to this. We're back to our punter being one of our best players again.
I mean, he's doing great. No offense to him. You know what I mean? He's playing his ass off.
We should not be walking in here every week going, well,
punter played well again. We got, he's
like he's probably going to be a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
And that's like, and Miles will make it because he's Miles, but we might not have any more.
No.
Especially if we were only going to win one win, they're not going to pick many people off a 1-win team.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't think our defense is as bad as what it's showing right now, but teams are just doing whatever they want against us because they get the ball all the time.
I thought for the most part, considering like they're pretty like explosive offense, I thought we bottled them up at least pretty decently the first half. And I felt like as soon as they got up like 10, it was like, yeah, we're done.
You could tell the defense.
Yeah,
you could tell the defense checked out.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Because even statistically, I mean, Jaden Daniels was obviously very good, but passing the ball, he was still only around a 50% completion percentage, threw a pick. I mean, he killed us with his legs. Did we not know that he had legs?
No, we did know that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that was terrible. But the defense played pretty solid for about a quarter. They gave up the one big play on the kind of a busted play to McLaurin. But the defense has not been what it has been last year. There's no doubt. But is it fair to think your defense is going to hold multiple NFL quarterbacks to under 100 yards passing every single game, every single year?
When they're on the field all game.
When they're on the field all game? No.
Is.
Clearly, we're not tackling as well as we did last year. We're not getting pressure the way we did last year. The defense clearly has things they need to improve on and build upon. But I stand by saying that the defense has played well enough that if we had any kind of offense that could give them a break, and, if you go 3 and out every time, the offense has the ball over and over. If you keep giving professional offenses the ball, they have 12 possessions and we have 4. They're going to do something eventually. They're going to wear you down. Yeah, the defense has played. If we had a 15th ranked offense, the defense would look better.
We're at a point where, like, when I'm watching the game and JOK picks off a pass, or, we force a fumble or something.
JOK again.
I'm not even excited because I'm
excited,
like,
but
oh, cool.
I get it.
All right, we get to run 3 plays and defense is right back on the field. Like, I know we're not going to do anything with it. And that's so frustrating. And it's frustrating for me as a fan watching the game. I can't imagine as a defender on that sideline, like, we're out here busting our asses, getting you turnover so you can go out there and try to put points on the board. And it's sack, throw away punt.
The defenses are Josh Cribbs right now. Like, if they don't score, we're not scoring.
I'm going to play a voicemail from Brad.
Okay.
Please be warned, the language about to be used in this voicemail might offend the young, so please have their earmuffs on. Hello, darkness, my old friend. No, seriously, what the fuck was that bullshit that was on the field today? It was just trash. Just utter fucking dumpster fire, piece of shit trash. The other trash teams we used to have in the NFL before this, we set our expectations low. And, we expected trash. But sometimes we'd get surprised. And even this year, we kind of set our expectations maybe in the middle, a little above that. And what do we get? We get shit on. The offense looks like fucking ass. Looked worse than it's ever fucking looked in this organization history, in my opinion, when you have a fucking $230 million quarterback out there. The offensive line doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. The defense just gives up big plays because they're fucking gassed half the time. And I don't know what to do with this team. I was going to fucking full send it and expect for the best. All right, guys, have a good day. This is Brad Moneymaker. Peace out. Fuck this team.
Golly.
And I guarantee you that was
demonetized.
That was the mindset of every Browns fan yesterday, because I said the same thing. I didn't even watch the last half of the fourth quarter or whatever. I said the same thing. Screw this team. I'm done. I'm out.
It's crazy. So, Brad, I get it, man. I completely get where you're coming from because it is frustrating. The thing that's scary for me is, like, I used to get like really worked up and upset. I'm not. Like, I just have kind of like, this is 5 weeks of, I already know what we're, like you said, I know what we're going to get. Am I optimistic? Am I like lying to myself? Absolutely. Because it's the same thing every week. You have every reason to be frustrated. You know what I mean? Like I've had this conversation with my wife about, should we like let these kids be Cleveland fans? I've had that conversation, and obviously I'm going to take them down that path. But I don't want my kids to have to watch Cleveland sports for 30 years before maybe we make the playoffs, or in my life, like once I really got on board with the Browns, I've seen them make the playoffs 3 times. I'm almost 40. That's crazy. The Kansas City Chiefs have just won back-to-back Super Bowls. You know what I mean? There's a chance that I die before I see us make it to a Super Bowl. Dude, that is insane.
I've said this to so many people in the last 24 hours. Like, Browns fans are some of the, like, they're the most loyal fans. I mean, if you've ever, we walked through the Muni lot up there in week 1, like, this fan base shows out for this team.
All the time.
We adjust our freaking entire weekend schedules around what time the Browns play on Sunday. You got to make sure that 3.5 hour window is open so we can watch the game. And then when the team comes out there and this is the product on the field, they're just flipping us 2 middle fingers and walking off. And we don't deserve it as Browns fans. Browns fans do not deserve this bullshit.
Go ahead.
So this has crossed my mind also, and I'm just preparing for this. Week 8, Cincinnati's coming to town.
It's not going to be good.
I can
Battle
tell
for
you
third place.
Well, no, I'm not even thinking of it like that.
And we're going to lose.
I'm thinking of it as I sat in that
hostile.
stadium during the Giants game, and I was like, they're booing this team so loud that the foundation is falling. You know what I mean? Like the stadium feels like it's going to fall down. If we play like that in that game, in a divisional game, I don't know how to even explain it. It is going to be bad. There's no way that you can roll Watson out there.
Like it will be an
time
away
after
game
time
for the
after
Browns.
time.
Here's the thing.
with the mentality of the atmosphere of that
They
stadium.
will blow us out
Yeah.
because their defense might be super banged up and they might not be playing well on
Hey,
defense.
the Commanders' defense wasn't good, and
but
it doesn't
they
matter.
are playing. Their offensive unit they're all out right now. They're playing extremely well. If you don't think Joe Burrow is going to come in and just absolutely light us the hell up, you are crazy. I don't care how we played against Cincinnati in the
This
last.
is not the same Browns.
This is a team that's checked out. They are checked out.
They,
And the fan base will not be. It will be ugly.
we won't even have to play bad. It'll be, if there's one incomplete pass,
It's over. Yeah,
It'll be
the
lose your
first 3 and out.
minds.
It'll be the first 3 and out. It'll be nonstop booing the entire time. Some things I saw some things in the chat here. I wanted to address. First of all, when you guys talked about like we've gotten to the point where I'm not even watching to root for the Browns anymore. Like when we were 1-31 bad, I used to watch just to see how bad we could be. Like
How
I'm
we
watching,
do it.
and I was almost getting to the point like, if we get another 3 and out, this is gonna be so laughably bad.
Like these are the memories we're making.
Yes, you know what I mean. Like,
Hey, we could win this game, but Corey Coleman's going to let it hit him right in the face.
like I'm watching. If we're gonna
bro.
make history, we're gonna make history one way or the other, and it's not gonna be for the good history. So like I found myself like comically almost like I didn't want us to get a late touchdown. I didn't want Deshaun to come out in the fourth quarter and throw for 100 yards and make it look like he was. I was just like, I hope this continues to be the fucking train wreck it is for the entire game, and luckily it was. I'm also growing up and watching the Browns and watching us be terrible. I always root for the Browns, obviously hardcore, and then I always had the other team that I enjoyed watching. I've reached that point.
Yep.
I'm a Browns fan and a Lions liker.
That's funny. My wife said
Watch
that to me
yourself,
yesterday.
sir.
She said,
Watch
"So what team are
yourself.
we going to root for now?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I just got done watching the Vikings, and I like Justin Jefferson, and your nephew likes Justin Jefferson. Yeah, let's just root for the Vikings this year."
I like the Lions. They are what the Browns thought they were going to be in the last couple of years. So I'm pulling for the Lions to win the Super Bowl if it's not going to be the
Oh,
Browns.
not me. I watched my 5-year-old nephew play flag football right before the game, so that's going to be my second team, I guess. That's pretty similar.
But then there's some more comments I wanted to get to. It
Yes.
says, if Haslam wants to make the right move, bring in Bill Belichick as GM and run. No.
Oh,
I don't know if
I've heard that from so many people. That is
No.
the worst idea.
Bill Belichick is arguably, it's him and Andy Reid is the greatest coaches of all time, in my opinion. But there is no doubt that this league has surpassed him in terms
Yeah,
of.
it's not his time.
No. There's a reason. I mean, the Patriots are bad. They are devoid of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They might have. They're as bad of an offense as us, but because they have no talent.
Right.
His talent evaluation, like since Brady left and the couple years before Brady left, so bad. No, Bill Belichick's great. He's super funny, like on TV and stuff now, and he's one of the GOATs. I do not want him anywhere near the GM position of the Browns making picks. We'll be flooding this roster with Mount Union players.
well, while we're talking about, like we've said that, we love what the Haslams have done as far as like front loading some of these contracts and stuff like that. I'm getting the vibe that they might be part of the problem too. Like if they're saying, hey, Watson, I have $230 million invested in this guy, he's going to play, then we've kind of already touched on that, but like, yikes. You know what I mean? Like, who's running the show?
They watch the games too, right?
Yeah.
They have to. I just don't understand. I understand the fact that you got the money invested in him, But who gives a shit at this point?
Just the money.
Product on the field, no one's coming anymore. No one's
I'll
watching.
be there, but it's rough.
And here's the thing: is you don't cut them because like the dead cap hit and all that. But nothing says you're paying him no matter what. Make him the third string quarterback.
And just make him a healthy scratch every week.
And just make him a healthy scratch and roll with Watson and Winston and DTR. You got to pay him anyways, but you don't have to pay him to play.
And we talked to Jack Duffin about that, and I've been trying to explain that to people. Like, the most likely path here is that he will still be on the team. His contract will still be on the roster for the next 2 seasons because, like he was saying, how they can split it, the dead cap over that last void year or whatever, they can split it in half, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mean he has to be on the active roster.
I've seen a lot of people say, just send him home. Just send him home.
Just
keep him
cut
on
him
your,
a check.
Yeah,
and
just keep him
like
on the
how
roster,
Tex-
but
yeah.
he just doesn't have to be there.
Because the dead cap is like 100. What is it? 172 million. You said.
Fuck, I'd make him clean the toilets or something.
Oh,
You're paying him. I'd keep him on the roster and tell him he's got to do something. But no, it's
tough.
Nothing says you have to play him.
No. This episode is brought to you by Baden Sports. Browns fans, Baden Sports is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear. Baden started out perfecting and manufacturing the best balls in the business. Yeah, if that sounded dirty, that's more about your mind than my words. But hey, it's true. Baseballs, softballs, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, you name it, and Baden has engineered the highest standard sports balls available. And now they offer more than just sports balls. If you got kids playing baseball or softball, Baden has batting gloves and bats to go along with both game balls and training balls. If you're into basketball, Baden makes basketball specifically for indoor or outdoor use. Heck, Baden even has all the equipment you need for pickleball, which is one sport that I hear everyone is playing and yet I still never have. And I need to fix that soon. But don't miss the backyard games section of Baden's website where you can order everything you need for this upcoming outdoor season. Pool balls, backyard volleyball nets, croquet, bocce, horseshoes, cornhole, and more. Right now, you can get 10% off your entire order at Baden Sports, BADEN sports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. That's 10% off all the top quality sporting gear you need this season. BadenSports.com/dogs. Can I play this last voicemail from Vontae?
Yeah.
He sent 2, so I'm just going to play them back to back. The second one's just an add-on.
Man, I'm tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of it, bro. Like, we do the same shit every week. It's like we go into practice week and we come out with the same results. We're not even doing nothing. Nothing has changed. They keep calling the same plays. Our running backs are so terrible. We have to have XFL running backs. They can't even get a yard. Like, it's crazy, man. They can't even average a yard. Every time we run the ball, we getting right back at the line of scrimmage. It don't make no sense. It's stupid, man. It's so stupid. And then Deshaun Watson is playing so terrible. And then when he finally makes a play, he finally gets the ball to his receivers, they're dropping the ball. So it's like we have no continuity. This season, I feel like it's a wash. It's over with. It's done, boys. It's over with.
And then here's the second.
And another thing, I'm tired of hearing Kevin Stefanski after every game talking about we need to play better. I need to coach better. Coach better. Coach better, bro. Call better plays. You keep saying this after every loss. I'm tired of the same mantra, bro. Just get it together, bro. By the time we get to game 9 or 10 of the season, it's going to be over with.
Yeah.
So a couple things. One, Gage keeps saying tank for Travis Hunter. Bro, we don't got a tank.
Yeah, we just got to keep playing the way we're playing.
Yes.
We are on the path.
By the way, I have the YouTube live pulled up on my computer, and I thought it was funny, Josh, that you have quarterback prospects scrolling across the bottom. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, whenever I set up the graphics before the season, I had a whole segment in there to kind of keep tabs on what the other AFC North teams had done each week, just because I was like, okay, let's keep a tracker here because we're going to be in this thing.
Goodness.
And it's week 5, and I said, screw that. It's time to put QB tracker in here.
My buddy that I ride up with to the games, he said, so what are we doing on Tuesday or Monday for the show? He's like, you guys doing a mock draft? And I was just like, we're not doing mock drafts till January, bro, but I get it. I get what you're saying. So, but it's rough. I've heard that from a lot of people. Like, so what do you think we should do in the draft? We're going to be what, top 3 pick? And I'm like, well, yeah.
Probably top 1.
I want to know.
One.
I hear a lot of people complain about like what he said with Kevin saying, I got to coach. What is he supposed to say?
Yeah,
I think it's just the fact that that's what he says, and then all week nothing changes, and then Sunday it's the same product, and it's like just like he said, I got to coach better. Well, then coach better, or these guys got to play better. Well, then play better. Like nothing changes. It's just I think that's where the frustration comes from.
I get the
it's
frustration.
Just the insanity thing of just do the same thing over and over. Are we really expecting different results? Come on now.
Like, do you? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing for him to say.
No, and he's not going to.
He knows they suck.
He doesn't throw his players under the bus. We know that.
You're not. No, tell me an NFL coach that gets up there and throws any of them.
Dennis Allen.
I didn't see it.
Can we get a quote?
He threw Kendra Miller under the bus hardcore during training camp about his hamstring injury.
Oh yeah, well the dude's always hurt. It's fair.
But he like there's just nothing. It's almost like if you're in a business meeting, like you have to remain professional. You might want to scream, "You guys are all fucking idiots," but you have to say it like, I don't know. Maybe we should circle back on that, and we can
try something different.
Try something different.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Of course, he wants to sit up there.
Sure,
and
when you're
like,
talking publicly, but when you got your team behind the scenes, I mean, I'm sure there's some hard conversations going on. I would hope they had that whole players meeting last week, and it's like, okay, cool, and then nothing changed again, and it's still the same bullshit, terrible puke fest on the field. I mean, it's so bad. Like. But oh my gosh, if it was, like you said, if it was any other team, we'd have made a change at quarterback by now.
I did see it's been a while now. I don't know if they're still watching, but somebody asked who Ben Johnson was. He's the offensive coordinator for the Lions.
Yeah, he's good.
Who's probably going to be the premier head coaching candidate. The problem is he's been that guy for like 2 years now, and he keeps interviewing and he's holding out. He knows he's good.
Yeah.
And he's not getting interviewed. He's interviewing organizations, and he knows that if you go into a spot that's set up to fail and you look and you're terrible, you might not get a second chance to be a head coach. Sure. So that's the problem with this is you can't go 1-16 here and fire Kevin Stefanski and then think you're going to get your number one option at head coach. You're not.
And he's got a pretty sweet deal where he's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he doesn't have to leave. He can stay there and keep
premier offense in Detroit.
And eventually
just keep building the resume.
Yep, and just keep building the resume. And he's a young guy. Eventually, a spot that has stable ownership and a good quarterback he thinks he can win with, and he'll go take that job. Nobody's going to. Nobody's going to come to Cleveland. If this continues this track and we have to play Deshaun and we go 1-16 and we look lost and it's a dumpster fire and you're not going to get a top level. If everybody gets fired, you're not getting a top level GM. You're not getting a top level head coach. You're definitely not going to get the top level GM. Jack Duffin talked about this. The way the Browns are spending money is sustainable as long as everybody's committed to it. And you're going to do it year after year after year, and it's the long-term vision. If they blow it up and they're no longer committed to it, then they are screwed. And no GM's going to want to come in and have to clean that up because you won't survive the rebuild.
No, and I think Andrew Berry is still, nothing's changed from my perspective. Like, he's still a great GM. His cap manipulation ability, like his understanding and the way he does things with the money is brilliant. I mean, it's next level, cutting edge NFL stuff that teams are going to be doing 10 years from now. But he's doing it now. I have seen a lot of people, and we can maybe talk about this more in like future episodes, but a lot of people are starting to point fingers at Paul DePodesta.
Yeah.
And say like a lot of the talent evaluation misses are stemming from DePodesta, not so much Andrew Berry. I mean, I know we point fingers at Andrew Berry for missing on this pick or not getting the right guy here or there or whatever, but the reality is there's an entire scouting department that needs investigated here, looked at, because they're not doing a very good job evaluating a lot of the talent and, using their analytics or whatever for some of these things.
So like Berry, the big knock on Berry is his drafting in terms of he's never drafted a guy who's made a Pro Bowl. Now, he hasn't had any first-round draft picks. Part of that is we gave him all up for a quarterback who can't play football. That being said, he's hit on some.
Martin Emerson should have probably been a Pro Bowler last year, to be fair.
But he does not look great this year now.
Now, what is it, though? So we had all these players that looked great last year. And now this year they look like they can't play football. I almost feel like we
already done
remember
this
when
before.
we've been through this situation before. And I'm with you, Blake. I would love to see them start Jameis Winston and just see what all looks different.
I'd like to address something really quick. I don't know if I'm going to say this name right. Britton Prunty, is that right? I have really bad eyes. Is that right?
I think you're right.
He did say, he brought up a name, Brian Flores. I love Brian Flores, right? But I think if we're going to draft a young quarterback,
That's not the coach you want.
I want a young offensive mind. I like the idea of it. I think Brian Flores is he's right off the Tomlin tree. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the kind of coach that I would love to have with this roster if we had some things figured out. But we do have to develop a quarterback. And so, but I think that's a nice name to throw out there. I think he's going to be a head coach again.
Especially when Tua called him out for kind of being like,
did you like
treating
that
him like
comeback?
garbage? And then I thought he like answered it like in the best way you could.
Yeah.
But this person said, I just don't know if we're going to be, if it goes off the rails, maybe we'll be looking for a coach, but they just extended him.
Right.
And again, how much power does he have right now?
I think that this is just my opinion, but the fact that Kevin Stefanski is sticking with Deshaun Watson, he's coming out and saying we're not making a quarterback change, just tells me that he has had a conversation where he's been told, you're going to play him until we tell you not to. Your job is fine. Like, whatever the result is, we're not getting rid of you. And he just looks completely hamstrung by the whole thing. But what else can he do? He knows, because I think if he felt like his job was on the line and they were telling him to play Watson, he would just buck management anyway and say, well, I'm going to play whoever I want because either way I'm getting fired. I'm not going out like this.
These can't be real comments. I believe they're sabotaging Watson. How? How are they sabotaging him?
Because they're keeping him in.
Who's sabotaging who?
Oh, well,
by letting him play.
Here's they're keeping him in currently, most likely because they gave him a boatload of money to play football for this team.
I'm saying the only way you can sabotage him, honestly, is by letting him keep playing. It's not it. It's not going to work.
Somebody else said, we need an established head coach. We don't want to take chances on another offensive coordinator. Established head coaches, they don't grow on trees, man. Guess what?
One.
Established head coaches, guess what? They all have jobs. So that's not a thing. All the Shanahan, Mike McDaniels, Kevin O'Connell, Shane Steichen, all these great head coaches right now, guess what they were? Coordinators of some sort. Like, that's part of talent evaluation and going out and interviewing. You have to find those guys. Belichick's and Andy Reid's, they don't just fall off trees. You don't just go, oh, hey, I know you're coaching there. Do you want to come coach here instead? I know we have a history of ruining people's career. Would you like to leave your stable environment and come coach here instead?
Right. This isn't college football.
Yeah. So some of the things, like, guys, we can be angry, but we can be smart angry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we can be smart angry. But yeah, I don't know. Unless it goes off the rails, I don't think they're going to be in the market for a coach.
No, I don't think so.
Because what I mentioned earlier, you'll get your fifth option. You know, you're not going to get anybody you're not going to get the guy you want. It's not going to happen because the guy you want's going to go to he's going to go to an organization that doesn't do these kinds of things. So, I don't know. I honestly don't think it's the coaches. I think that Deshaun is so bad at this point that the offense isn't even run properly. Welcome to the show. I couldn't agree more.
That's how we opened. Yep.
It like I said, everything stems from him, and I don't know where they go from here if they don't bench him. I don't know. I don't know what they do.
If they don't bench him, every week is going to be exactly the same as every week has already been. Nothing is going to change. Nothing's getting better. So I just want everybody to mentally prepare for that. Go into the Philly game. Oh, yeah. I just saw the betting lines opened up. Philly opened as 8.5-point favorites.
And they're not even playing well.
No, they're not. But the thing is, I'll take Philly in the points. There's no way we get anywhere close to them.
No, if they score 9, they'll cover the spread.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We gotta.
Hey, thank you for the super chat. I think we need to play DTR, see what he can do, see if he's our future. If he isn't, start looking to the draft. He isn't the future. At least I mean, I'm not saying he's a bum, but I just don't. I don't think he's the future.
Here's what I would.
A bad point,
I think my approach would be start Jameis for the next 3-4 games. See if we can get some wins. Because you never know. The NFL is things happen all the time. Players get hurt. Crazy. Yeah. I mean, the Browns last year looked like we were dead in the water, and then all of a sudden we went on a run and made the playoffs with nothing. Yeah. So maybe Jameis, is that spark, and all of a sudden we're back in this whole playoff talk. I mean, I know it's not going to happen, but that would be my approach. And then if we go and we keep losing games and Jameis isn't doing it either, then you play DTR and just say, go get some experience. You're going to be our backup for the next 2 years anyway. So what the hell?
My thing is we're too stubborn to even make a move to the next guy.
Right.
I don't.
What really sucks too is I think you're stuck between a rock and a hard place in terms of what do you want to do? Because I think if you make the switch to Jameis, you get Chubb back, guys start playing harder because you can't convince me that they haven't given up.
Oh, it's toast.
Okay. So, I'm not saying if you make the switch to Jameis, it's going to be like a light bulb goes off and we go on a 12-game win streak. That's not what I'm saying. But I think if you go to Jameis and you start doing some more offensive things that Kevin Stefanski's done in the past, you help the line out with more tight ends and Nick Harrison there at fullback, and you get back to some of the staples of Kevin Stefanski's offense, I think we can be respectable and we can finish this season somewhere between 6 to 7 wins. Okay. And look like, the quarterback was the problem. Team seemed way more focused after he wasn't playing anymore. We did some good things when he wasn't in there anymore, that kind of thing. But do you want to do that? Because if we're not going to make the playoffs and this season is lost, I want a top 5 pick. I want a top 3 pick. You know what I mean? So it's what do you want to do? Also, we want a new stadium. Guess who's not going to be able to afford it? I mean, he can afford it, but you're going to get a ton of pushback if you try to build a new stadium right now if you go 1-16.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Nobody's going to fans can kind of get behind helping you pay for it in their taxes and stuff if you're putting out a team that's going to make the playoffs and potentially go on a Super Bowl run for the first time in their life. If you're going 1-16, good luck getting that.
No, this team right now is just laughing in our face. Like that, I was just watching that game yesterday. I was mad, just as a Browns fan, really? Especially for us, we put a whole lot of time and effort into this podcast and stuff. And it's really? This is the effort on the field? This is the product that we're being handed? Really? I mean, it is a slap in the face. It really is.
All right. Well, I didn't realize what time it was already. 7:35. We've been going for the hour. I got to get home. I got to go. I could do this for 2 more hours just saying the same thing over and over. And now we had the Guardians lose. Just why does God hate us? At least that series is only 1-1. So, we're still alive over there. But we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. We'll have a preview episode coming out sometime later this week where we'll talk about the upcoming loss against the Eagles.
Not wrong.
You're not going to get much positive out of me until they give me a reason to be positive. And the only thing I'm positive about right now is that's probably not going to happen. So, but hopefully you guys stick around with us throughout the season. Again, we can talk and we can bitch about them together as a group.
Yeah, I mean, I posted today that this was not our live show tonight. It was our regularly scheduled therapy session for the week. Tune into these every week. They're going to not be Victory Mondays. They are going to be therapy sessions that we don't charge you for. So
even if you don't watch the games, you can still come watch the show and hear about what you missed. Before we leave, Aaron Butler's in here. He's been talking about how happy he is that we're terrible again. And you should be sad, man, because you know what makes our little tit for tat fun going on back and forth for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The Ravens have, had the edge in terms of where they finished and stuff, but the Browns have at least been competitive. I'm pretty sure we've split in games, made the playoffs twice. It's not going to be fun for you if it's not fun.
I'm going to lose that bet finally. That division sweep, I'm probably not going to win that bet.
You're going to get super bored real fast, Aaron, because you're going to come in here every week saying, "Oh, the Browns suck," and we're going to go,
"Yeah,
I know,
bro. Trust me, you're the 400th
what's the weather like
person.
there? I mean,
how's the weather in Cleveland?
There's nothing else to talk about. Yeah, we suck. I know.
Yes. So, if anything, you should be rooting for us to be good. It makes this more fun.
There is no rivalry with a 1-16 piece of shit dumpster fire.
Correct. So that's what I just wanted to say. So you should be hoping that we rattle off a few wins here and make it more interesting. Because if not, I mean, I'm going to be like right beside you talking about how bad we suck.
Yeah. We'll be in this together.
Yes.
For the first time.
Yeah. So I appreciate your support. But we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. We appreciate all you guys watching, hanging out with us through the downs and the lows and the terribles. We'll see you guys later this week when we talk about the Eagles game. Again, if you want a therapy session all week, you want to head to jointhedogs.com and become a dog pack member. Until later this week, stay safe. Try not to get too down on yourself, and go Guardians.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DOGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order, and that code can be used over and over, so you get 10% off every order you make using code DOGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. dangercoffee.com, code DOGS.